world we have come alone, और जाए भी अकेला. And in a similar manner, when we take our exit, we shall leave alone. 2 दिन की जिंदगी है, 2 दिन का मेला. When we do take stock of our lives, we realize that this life is a very short visit to a mela. This is a world of strangers. No one is yours. Although everyone lives, I am still alone. आए भी अकेला और जाए भी अकेला.
त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव, त्वमेव बन्धु च सखा त्वमेव, त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देवा. आए भी अकेला, जाए भी अकेला. 2 दिन की जिंदगी है, 2 दिन का मेला. आए भी अकेला, जाए भी अकेला. 2 दिन की जिंदगी है, 2 दिन का मेला. जिंदगी है, 2 दिन का मेला। आए भी अकेला, जाए भी अकेला, 2 दिन की जिंदगी है, 2 दिन का मेला। 2 दिन की जिंदगी है, 2 दिन का मेला।
2 दिन की मेहमान जगत में काहे के तू करते गुमान। 2 दिन की मेहमान जगत में काहे के करते गुमान। मार्ग चलते मोछ मनोरथ मर्याद सब भाई के। मार्ग चलते मोछ मनोरथ मर्याद सब सहाय के। पर धन देख के मन अब ललचे, पर धन देख के मन अब ललचे, निकल गई बेईमान रे। 2 दिन की मेहमान जगत में काहे के करते गुमान। 2 दिन की मेहमान जगत में काहे के करते गुमान। पर सुख देख के मन अब जलते, जैसे अग्नि के घास से। पर सुख देख के मन अब जलते, जैसे अग्नि के घास रे। आन के बदाई सुन कर मूरख, आन के बदाई सुन कर मूरख हुए हैं पूरा लबार रे। 2 दिन की मेहमान जगत में काहे के करते गुमान रे। काहे के करते गुमान रे। पर धन नीति के जो हरते हैं, अपना जाल बिछाई के। पर धन दिया जो हरते हैं, अपना जाल फैलाई के। राम लाल सुनो भाई संतो, राम लाल सुनो भाई संत, उनसे रहो होशियार।
कोई ना ले जाए है धन बांध के गठरिया, कोई ना ले जाए है धन बांध के गठरिया, धन बांध के गठरिया, धन बांध के गठरिया, धन बांध के गठरिया, धन बांध के गठरिया रे, कोई ना ले जाए है धन बांध के गठरिया। जब यमराज पलंग पर बैठे, हाँ जब यमराज पलंग पर बैठे, उलट गए दोनों नैन पटरिया, उलट गए दोनों नैन पटरिया रे, कोई ना ले जाए धन बांध के गठरिया। मारही सूता प्राण निकाले, मारही सूता प्राण निकाले, प्राण लोकाई खोतरिया खोतरिया, ओ प्राण लोकाई खोतरिया खोतरिया रे, कोई ना ले जाए धन बांध के गठरिया, कोई ना ले जाए धन बांध के गठरिया, कोई ना ले जाए धन बांध के गठरिया। चार प्रहर मिली काट उठावे, चार प्रहर मिली काट उठावे, फूक दिया जैसे बन के लकड़िया, फूक दिया जैसे बन के लकड़िया रे, कोई ना ले जाए धन बांध के गठरिया, कोई ना ले जाए धन बांध के गठरिया, कोई ना ले जाए धन। कहत कबीर सुनो भाई साधु, कहत कबीर, कहत कबीर सुनो भाई साधु, छूट गए सब महल उतरिया, छूट जाए सब महल उतरिया, कोई ना ले जाए धन बांध के गठरिया, कोई ना ले जाए धन बांध के गठरिया, अरे कोई ना ले जाए धन बांध के।
परमात्मा से है मेरी आत्मा, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन। परमानंद का अनुभव कर, ओ परमानंद का अनुभव कर, तू धन्य बना जीवन। ज्योति बिंदु, ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन। प्रभु की प्राप्ति का मूल मंत्र है संपूर्ण समर्पण, है आत्मा चल प्रभु को सौंप दे तू सारा जीवन। देख प्रभु तेरे निकट विराजे, ओ देख प्रभु तेरे निकट विराजे, कर ले अभिवादन। ज्योति बिंदु, ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से है मेरी आत्मा, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन। परमानंद का अनुभव करो, परमानंद का अनुभव कर तू धन्य बना जीवन।
Mic check. Mic check 1 2.
ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से है मेरी आत्मा, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन। ज्योति बिंदु के प्रेम सिंधु में चल आज निहाले, परम पिता का प्रेम पात्र बन कर तू शुभ वर पाले। किरण किरण को निरख नयन से, ओ किरण किरण को निरख नयन से, को जा मन में मगन। ज्योति बिंदु, ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से है मेरी आत्मा, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन, अब चल कर ले मिलन।
One day this life will leave this body, and I will exist no more in this material world. Every living being must eventually marry the bride of death. Let not the mind lust at physical wealth and pleasures. The services that we can perform, do it now, for you may never get the opportunity to pass this way again. Glorify the name of the Lord and receive His blessings. एक दिन हमें भी जाना है. One day we will all have to leave this world.
एक दिन हमें भी जाना है, एक दिन हमें भी जाना है। जग चला जाता है सारा, जग चला जाता है सारा, इकता कौन ठिकाना है। एक दिन हमें भी जाना है, एक दिन हमें भी जाना है। खूब मौज कर देख तमाशा, खूब मौज कर देख तमाशा, खेलने को खेला करनी है तो कर ले रे बंदे, करनी है तो कर ले रे बंदे, फिर नहीं आना है। एक दिन हमें भी जाना है, एक दिन हमें भी जाना है। कौरी कौरी करके जोरी, कौरी कौरी करके जोरी, भरा खजाना जंगल जाए जा बंदे रे, जंगल जाए जा बंदे रे, फिर पछताना है। एक दिन हमें भी जाना है, एक दिन हमें भी जाना है। जग चला जाता है सारा, जग चला जाता है सारा, इकता कौन ठिकाना है। एक दिन हमें भी जाना है, एक दिन हमें भी जाना है, एक दिन हमें भी जाना है।
इतना तो करना स्वामी, जब प्राण तन से निकले, गोविंद नाम लेकर जब प्राण तन से निकले। इतना तो करना स्वामी, जब प्राण तन से निकले। यह तो गंगा जी का तट हो, जमुना का तट निकट हो। यह तो गंगा जी का तट हो, जमुना का तट निकट हो। और सावरा निकट हो, जब प्राण तन से निकले। इतना तो करना स्वामी, जब प्राण तन से निकले। श्री वृंदावन का तल हो, विष्णु चरण का जल हो। श्री वृंदावन का तल हो, विष्णु चरण का जल हो। मुखरे में तुलसी दल हो, जब प्राण तन से निकले। इतना तो करना स्वामी, जब प्राण तन से निकले। फिर सोहना मुकुट हो, मुखरे पे काली लट हो। फिर सोहना मुकुट हो, मुखरे पे काली लट हो। यहाँ जान मेरी गत हो, जब प्राण तन से निकले। इतना तो करना स्वामी, जब प्राण तन से निकले। जब प्राण कंत आवे, कोई रोग ना सतावे। जब प्राण कंत आवे, कोई रोग ना सतावे। यम त्रास ना दिखावे, जब प्राण तन से निकले। इतना तो करना स्वामी, जब प्राण तन से निकले। इतनी मेरी अरज है, मानो तो क्या हरज है। इतनी मेरी अरज है, मानो तो क्या हरज है। वहाँ आपका फरज है, जब प्राण तन से निकले। इतना तो करना स्वामी, जब प्राण तन से निकले। गोविंद नाम लेकर, जब प्राण तन से निकले। इतना तो करना स्वामी, जब प्राण तन से निकले। जब प्राण तन से निकले। जब प्राण तन से निकले।
आए भी अकेला, into this world we have come alone, और जाए भी अकेला, and in a similar manner, when we take our exit, we shall leave alone. 2 दिन की जिंदगी है, 2 दिन का मेला. When we do take stock of our lives, we realize that this life is a very short visit to a mela. This is a world of strangers. No one is yours. Although everyone lives, I am still alone. आए भी अकेला और जाए भी अकेला.
त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव, त्वमेव बन्धु च सखा त्वमेव, त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देवा. आए भी अकेला जाए भी अकेला, 2 दिन की जिंदगी है, 2 दिन का मेला. आए भी अकेला जाए भी अकेला, 2 दिन की जिंदगी है, 2 दिन का मेला. Oh अकेला, 2 दिन की जिंदगी है, 2 दिन का मेला। आए भी अकेला, जाए भी अकेला, 2 दिन की जिंदगी है, 2 दिन का मेला। हर की शरण तू हो जा, ध्यान लगा ले। हर की शरण तू हो जा, ध्यान लगा ले। जीवन मिले ना फिर ये, जीवन को पाले। हर की शरण तू हो जा, ध्यान लगा ले। जीवन मिले ना फिर ये, जीवन को पाले। खेल जगत का सारा उसी न है खेला, 2 दिन की जिंदगी है, 2 दिन का मेला। आए भी अकेला, जाए भी अकेला, 2 दिन की जिंदगी है, 2 दिन का मेला। ये जिंदगी है प्यारी, एक झूठ सपना। ये जिंदगी है प्यारी, एक झूठ सपना। गैरों के दुनिया में नहीं कोई अपना। ये जिंदगी है प्यारी, एक झूठ सपना। गैरों के दुनिया में नहीं कोई अपना। सबके रहते हुए मैं हूँ अकेला, 2 दिन की जिंदगी है, 2 दिन का मेला। आए भी अकेला, जाए भी अकेला, 2 दिन की जिंदगी है, 2 दिन का मेला। 2 दिन की जिंदगी है, 2 दिन का मेला।
2 दिन की मेहमान जगत में, काहे के तू करते कुमार। 2 दिन की मेहमान जगत में, काहे के करते कुमार। मार्ग चलते मोछ मरोरत, मर्याद सब भाई के।
Use that to the pinda. Come wash your hand. ओम पावित्रवा सर्वोष्ठानम तुपी वय स्मृत पुंडरीकाक्षम put your right hand on your left. Touch it here. ओम राघवाय श्री केशवाय भ्यो नमः श्री गोविंदाय भ्यो नमः wash your hands. ओम नमः श्री परमात्माय भ्यो नमः श्री सत्यदेवाय भ्यो नमः. ओम पितृदेवताय यम देवताय भ्यो नमः. Touch it here. Om Raghvaya 3 times. Keshwaya Bhyo Namaha. Sri Govindaya Bhyo Namaha. Wash your hands. Om Namah Sri Apavitru Pavitrva Sarvo wash your hands. Sarvo Shanam Gatopi Vayahasmrit Pundarekaksham Sarve Bhavantara Suchi touch it. Om Raghvaya Sri Keshwaya Sri Govind 3 times. Sri Govindaya Bhyo one more time. Wash your hands. Good, nice. Om Namah Sri Paramatmaya Bhyo Namaha Sri Satyadevaya. Put your right hand on your left. Touch it here. Om Raghvaya 3 times. Keshwaya Bhyo Namaha Sri Govindaya Bhyo Namaha. Wash your hands. Om Namah Sri Paramatmaya Bhyo Namaha Sri Satyadevaya. Wash your hands. Om Apavitru Pavitrva Sarvo Shanam. Touch it here. Sarvo Shanam Gatopi Vayahasmrit Pundarekaksham Sarve Bhavantara Suchi Namaha. Om Pitradevitayam. Wash your hands. Pitradevitayam Devitaya Hagakshya Trishtam Asanam Vinyogaha. Wash your hands. Om Namah Sri Paramatmaya Bhyo Namaha. Wash your hands. Sri Satyadevaya Bhyo Namaha. Pitradevitayam Devitaya. Touch it here. Right hand on your left. Touch it 3 times. Om Raghvaya Sri Keshwaya Sri. Wash your hands. Sri Govindaya Bhyo Namaha. Om Apavitru Pavitrva Sarvo Shanmatopiva Yahasmarit Pundarekaksham Sarve Bhavandara Suchi. Om Namah Sri Paramatmayam Sri Satyadevaya Bhyo Namaha. Om Namah Sri Paramatmayam Bhyo Namaha Sri Satyadevaya Bhyo Namaha. Index finger. Om Kushmani Sati Brahma Kushmani Janandanam. Next one, next index. Kusharagri Sarvadevanam. Kushpainti Dharane Vinyogaha Sri Paramatmaya Bhyo Namaha. Om Kushmani Sati Brahma Kushmani Janandanam. Kusharagri Sarvadevanam. I tell him to take all your measurements and we didn't take the measurements.
In trouble?
Sorry.
No trouble. You have to make sure and do things good now, you know. More look fit in the end. Om, it fit better. Kushmani Sati Brahma Kushmani Janandanam. Kusharagri Sarvadevanam Kushpainti Dharane Vinyogaha Amukha Ghotasya Mukha Pritasya. Om Sarvadanam Maya Dibhyato Patishtatam Namah. Excuse me. Om Namah Sri Paramatmaya Bhyo Namaha Sri Sri Satyadevaya Bhyo Namaha. Om Namah Sri Mukha Ghotasya Mukha Pritasya Chandandanam Maya Dibhyato Patishtatam Namah Sri Paramatmaya Bhyo Namaha Sri Satyadevaya Bhyo Namaha. Om Namah Sri Sri Khandanam Chandram Dibhyangandharam Sumanoharam Vilepanam Surasasreshtaya Namah Chandanam Prati Namah Sri Mukha Ghotasya Mukha Pritasya Mriti Snanam Sva Om Chandandanam Maya Dibhyatu Patishtatam Namaha. Right, come stand there. Dip your finger in the chandan. Do you want me to ring?
Sorry?
Yeah, dip it good, eh? Put one in the center for it. Take your time. By the ears. Om Mukha Ghotasya Mukha Pritasya Chandandanam Maya Dibhyatu Patishtatam Mukha Ghotasya on the chin. Amukha Gotasya Mukha, yeah, napkin, paper towel. You see the 5 piece of gold?
Gold.
Careful, it's gold. It's gold.
You bring somebody to test it? Left hand. No. Open your left hand.
Oh.
Right, one by one. One of the 2 eyes. Om Mukha Gotasya Mukha Pritasya Sonadanam Maya Dibhyatu Patishtatam Namaha. Om 2 nose. 2-sided nose. Amukha Go, put it up inside like. Amukha Gotasya Mukha Pritasya Mriti Shnanam Swa Sonadanam Maya Dibhyatu Patishtatam Namaha. Om Namaha Sarvadanam Maya Dibhyatu, across the mouth, across the lip. Do you want to see leaf?
Yeah.
One. Mouth. Fit it down inside. Right, nice man. Fit good. Put this on the mouth.
On your mouth?
Yeah. Send that remote. Om Maya Dibhyatu Mukha Gotasya Mukha Pritasya Tulsi Danam Maya Dibhyatu Patishtatam Namaha Sri Paramatmai Mala. Start to bring the mala. One by one. Check sound. One.
We are all gathered here today, but for one specific reason. And what that reason is, this person lying in this coffin here, we have known this person somewhere. Either he was my friend, or either he was the gentleman who used to sell in the parlor, or either he was my family, or we worked together, or he was my boss. Somewhere along the line, we know this person lying here. Hence the reason we are all gathered here today. Other than that, we'd have been somewhere else. So we are all in this together. We all have an important part to play. Every single person who is gathered here have a part to play today. And what that part is, we are gathered here to consult with that person who we know as God. The only thing we can do is to offer a little prayer and ask God to guide and protect his soul. This is what we are here for. So at this time of the ceremony, we are going to do the offering of the mala and the flowers. So after the Yajman has completed the mala session, I invite each and every one of you, the least we can do is to do something while we are present here today. I invite each and every one of you to come forward in a very orderly manner and offer a flower in the coffin. We come like this, we offer here, and we go back out like this. So everyone would get the opportunity to do something. And you know, when we leave here and we go at our homes, we could say, well, you know, I went to the funeral and I did something. Lord, I did something. You give me the opportunity to do something, and this is what I did. So after the completion of the mala, then I invite everyone, each and everyone, to come and offer flowers here. As the ceremony goes on, I am going to inform you as to how it proceeds.
I invite everyone to come and put a flower, please. Everyone, come and put a flower. Any part of the coffin you can rest, you can put the flowers. Any part, by the foot, by the head, anywhere. Om Kabutasham Kapridasham Ritishnanam Sir Pushpamala Mayadidhyatu Patishtatam Namaha Sri Om Namaha Sri Pramadamaya Gita Ganga Chakayatri Sita Satya Saraswati Brahma Vidya Brahmalitri Sandhya Mata
Om Ardhamata Chidananda Bhavagni Paina Jnana Manjali
Sri Satyadevaya Bhyunah Om
Sri Narayanaya Bhyunah Sri Pitradevtayam Devtaya Bhyunah Amukha Gotasya Mukha Pritasya Mriti Shnanam Sa Pushpamala Maya Divyatu Patishtatam Namaha Om Namaha Sri Paramatmaya Bhyunah Om Evang Satati Yuktaya Bhaktyastvang Paryupasati Chapyaksharam Yavaktang Tishang Yoga Vittamaha. Any part of the coffin you can rest it, any part. Maya Vishamanu Mam Nitya Yukta Upasate Stradha Paryupita Stimi Yukta Tamamata. Om Namaha Sri Amukha Gotasya Mukha Pritasya Mriti Shnanam Swa Pushpamala Maya Divyatu Patishtatam Namaha Om Namaha Sri Paramatmaya Bhyunmaha Sri Satyadevaya Bhyunmaha Om Namaha Sri Narayanaya Bhyunmaha Sri Paramatmaya Bhyunmaha Pitra Devta Yam Devta Yaha Gakshe Yaha Trishtam Asanam Vinyoga Sri Pitra Devta Bhyunmaha Om Mukha Gotasya Mukha Pritasya Mriti Shnanam Sa Pushpamala Maya Divyatu Patishtatam Namaha Yam Brahma Varuninda Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyastve Vedeshanga Parikramupanishade Gayanti Yam Samaga Dhyanavasthitargate Namansa Pashyanti Yang Yoginu Yasyantang Navidu Sura Surgana Devaya Tasmai Namaha Om Mukha Gotasya Mukha Pritasya Mriti Shnanam Swa Pushpamala Maya Divyatu Patishtatam Namaha Om Namaha Sri Paramatmaya Bhyunmaha Sri Satyadevaya Bhyunmaha पितृदेवताय यम देवताय यहाँ गिक्ष यहाँ त्रिष्टम आसनं विनियोगः नमः। ओम यम ब्रह्म वेदांत विदु वदन्ति परमा प्रधानं पुरुषं तथन्ति विश्वोर्गति कारणमीश्वरं वा तस्मै नमो विघ्न विनाशनाय। ओम नमः श्री अमुक गोत्रस्य मुख प्रेतस्य मृति स्नानं स्व पुष्पमाला मया दिव्यतो प्रतिष्ठतां नमः। ओम नमः श्री पितृदेवताय यम देवताय यहाँ गिक्ष यहाँ त्रिष्टम आसनं विनियोगः श्री नमः। ओम नमः श्री परमात्माय भ्यो नमः श्री सत्यदेवाय भ्यो नमः। Anyone please, anyone is desirous of offering a flower, they could come forward, now is the time. Om mukha gotasya mukha pretasya mriti snanam swa pushpamala maya divyatu patishtatam namaha. Om namaha Shri Paramatmaya bhyo namaha Shri Satyadevaya bhyo namaha. Somebody has here too?
Yeah. I was going to say. Yeah. Picture of me. Right here.
Om Pushpamala Pushpamala maya divyatu patishtatam.
Wash it. Give me a Let me see. Whatever you do.
Om Kabhutasya Mukhapretasya Mriti Snanam Swa Pushpamala maya divyatu patishtatam namaha Shri Paramatmaya bhyo namaha Shri Satyadevaya bhyo namaha. I know genuine jewel. What? No. We're doing this 4 times a week, so remember, right? Put your left hand on the his hand. On the his. Right. Remember where you're doing it? When you put it there, you're closing it.
ओम मुखभूतस्य मुखप्रीतस्य मृतिस्नानं स ओम प्रथम पिंडादानं मया दिव्यतो रसमूलः मया दिव्यतो प्रतिष्ठतां नमः श्री परमात्माय नमः श्री सत्यदेवाय ओम नमः श्री मुखभूतस्य मुखप्रीतस्य चित्तिलाञ्छनं दानं मया दिव्यतो प्रतिष्ठतां नमः श्री परमात्माय नमः श्री सत्यदेवाय नमः come back slowly.
During the time of the arati, if anyone wants and desirous of taking their seat, they can do so. When the Yajman completed their rounds of arati, just as we offer flowers, I just want to send an invitation to each and every one of you to come forward, and they can wave the light a little. So then when we leave here, we can say we all together take part in the funeral of that person who was such a nice person, or whatsoever your comments may be. So whosoever again wants to take their seat, they can do so while the arati is in procession. Andekale namasute Sri Pitra Devtayam Devtayam Dware Mahaguri Andekale namasute Jai Krishna Hare Sri Krishna Hare Dukhiyo ko dukha dur kare Jai 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 Krishna Hare. Everyone together. Jai Krishna Hare Sri Krishna Hare Dukhiyo ko dukha dur kare Jai Jai Jab char taraf andhiyara ho आशा का दूर किनारा हो जब चार तरफ अंधियारा हो आशा का दूर किनारा हो फिर तू ही न केवन वाला हो फिर तू ही बेड़ा पार करो जय जय everyone together Jai Krishna Hare Sri Krishna Hare Dukhiyo ko dukha dur kare Jai तू चाहे तो सब कुछ कर दे विषय को भी अमृत कर दे तू चाहे तो सब कुछ कर दे विषय को भी अमृत कर दे पूर्ण कर दे सबकी आशा पूर्ण कर दे सबकी आशा जो भी तेरा ध्यान धरे फिर जो भी जय 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 Krishna Hare. Everyone together. Jai Krishna Hare, Sri Krishna Hare. Dukhiyon ko dukha dur kare. Jai 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 Krishna Hare. Jai 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 Krishna Hare. Jai Jai Jai. Om Yam Dware Mahagore Ande Kale Namasute Yam Dware Mahagore Ande Kale Namasute Devtayam Devtay Bhyo Yam Dware Mahagore Ande Kale Namasute Sri Pitridevtayam Devtay Bhyo Namaha. Om Namah Sri Paramatmaya. All those who wishes to wave the light now, they can come and do so, please, in a very orderly manner. Come this way. Come just right by the head. Right hand. Put the hand. Right, very good. Om Yam Dware Mahagore Ande Kale Namasute Sri. Bhajale Govind, Bhajale Govind, Bhajale Govindam. Ye duniya hai Prabhu ki maya, Bhajale Govindam. Everyone together. Bhajale Govind, Bhajale Govind. प्रभु जी मेरे आओ, प्रभु जी मेरे आओ, प्रभु जी मेरे आओ. भजले गोविंद, भजले गोविंद, भजले गोविंदम. ये दुनिया है प्रभु की माया. प्रभु जी मेरे आओ, प्रभु जी मेरे आओ. चारि उरा मेरा भय उदासी, अखिया हरि दर्शन के प्यासी. चारि उरा मेरा भय उदासी, अखिया हरि दर्शन के प्यासी. आके प्यास मिटावो रे आवो अब आवो प्रभु जी. Everyone together. Bhajale Govind, Bhajale Govind. ये दुनिया है प्रभु की माया, भजले गोविंदम. Again. भजले गोविंद, भजले गोविंद, भजले गोविंदम. ये दुनिया है प्रभु की माया. प्रभु जी मेरे आओ, प्रभु जी मेरे आओ. विनती तेरा प्रभु कोई न जाने, प्रभु तुझे प्रभु कोई न माने. विनती तेरा प्रभु कोई न जाने, प्रभु तुझे प्रभु कोई न माने. आँख मुरलिया बजाओ रे आवो अब आओ प्रभु जी मेरे आओ. Everyone. भजले गोविंद, भजले गोविंद. भजले गोविंदम. Again. भजले गोविंद, भजले गोविंद, भजले गोविंदम. ये दुनिया है प्रभु की माया, भजले गोविंदम. प्रभु जी मेरे आओ, प्रभु जी मेरे आओ, प्रभु जी मेरे. ओम यम द्वारे महाघोरे अंधा काले नमस्ते, अंधे काले नमस्ते. यम द्वारे महाघोरे अन्य काले नमस्ते. राम राम भजु राम राम भजु राम राम भजु राम. राम राम सिया राम भजुले राम राम सिया राम. भजु राम राम सिया राम, भजु राम राम सिया राम. Everyone together. राम राम भजु राम राम भजु राम राम भजु राम. राम राम सिया राम भजुले. Bhaju Ram Ram Siya Ram, Bhaju Ram. A final call for anyone want to wave the light, please come forward. Please come forward, devotees. Om Yam Dware Mahaghore Yande Kal Namasute Sri Pitra Devata Yande Kai. Devotees, you know, when this time reaches in the life of a human being, it is to note, however, that the same thing is taking place in this family and at this home. One day, somewhere, sometime, it is going to take place in every single person present here in their home. I have the little experience and I know what it is to live without a father. My father has passed away this year, is 17 years. And while he was alive in this world, I tried to do my best. I didn't wait until he died and then I say, you know, I shoulda, and I coulda, and I shoulda. I try my best and I always ask God every day in my life, most of the days in my life, I ask God, if by chance while my father was alive in this world, I have faltered in any way, Lord, I want you to forgive me. Because you could pay back a loan in the bank. You could pay back anything in this world. But there's one thing you cannot pay back, is what ma and pa have done for you. All the money in this world, all the material gains in this world that you may have, it does not compensate in the sleepless nights with your mother, tu kitani achhi hai, tu kitani bholi hai, pyari pyari bole hi ma. Sometimes the child crying and sometimes the mother so fed up and all, she and all crying too. Sometimes the father, but the father doesn't show that love as the mother will do. But the father love does come from within. The father does just make sure that the house secured, that there are foods in the home, there is everything, tea and tech and all these things. They say that is the father job. That is what they say. But the father shows that love within devotees. And while our father is alive in this world, we must try our utmost best to do what a father and mother does want from their children. All they want from their children is to see their children happy. That is all. I don't know if some fathers and mothers just want their salary, but I do think that. So while we are alive in this world, devotees, let us show that love, and let us show that kindness, and let us show everything we have to our father and mother. Before I say more, you know, I have my godson, he's somewhere. I am going to call on him now. Mr. Ashwani Mahavir, I am going to call on him now to do the eulogy. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Pandit Para Maharaj. Sitaram Namaste. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. I have written many speeches in my lifetime. I have written speeches for members of parliament. I have written speeches for ministers of government. I have written speeches for trade union leaders, trade union officials, for political leaders, and I've written hundreds of commentaries that were published in the newspapers and on social media. At one point in time, during a consultancy that I worked with in the office of the Prime Minister, I wrote speeches for the then Prime Minister as well. Apart from writing speeches, I have delivered countless, many. At birthday parties, at satsangs, at weddings. I delivered speeches at anniversaries. I delivered speeches at graduation ceremonies at school. And many on the political campaign trail. And of course, I would have delivered speeches at funerals. And for those of you who know me, I also delivered speeches as a senator, an opposition senator in the Parliament of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. But this one is different. This one is different in many ways, and I'll tell you why. To begin with, I try more often than not to speak without reference to speaking notes. I try to extempo, as they say in the Calypso world. But when you are asked, thank you. But when you are asked to speak about a giant of a soldier, when you are asked to speak about a warrior, a father, a grandfather, a father-in-law, an uncle, a friend, and a neighbor, when you are asked to speak about a hero, then you have to try to capture all the relevant points and all the relevant facts so that you can paint an accurate as possible a picture of the life of that person. And in any event, while trying to compile my thoughts on this, I had to get the views of the immediate family, friends, neighbors, etc., etc. So forgive me if you see me referring to the notes. I have a confession to make, a confession of sorts, so to speak. And that is, on or around the 25th of March of this year, 2022, the deceased Ramdulara Prabhudial called me. He invited me to his birthday party, his birthday celebration. I use party in inverted commas, because he was having a prayer, a puja at his temple. And he asked me then to say some words which I felt would have been fitting for the occasion. And I would have prepared myself mentally to do that. But for whatever reason, maybe you should put your phone on silent. For whatever reason, maybe he forgot at the time. Maybe his pundit who was here forgot at the time. So it did not happen. And we left that ceremony without me delivering the words of greetings on his birthday. 86 years he was. But I understand that God works in mysterious ways, his wonders to perform. That was not meant to be. And around the same time, his son, Bisham, And for those of you who don't know, that's the chubby gentleman on the right. He was on vacation from the blistering bright lights of New Jersey. And he had asked me that if God forbid, if something was to happen to his father, if I would deliver some words at his funeral, to deliver a eulogy. At that time, I refused for personal and private reasons. I said no. And I indicated to him that I felt that was probably something for immediate family to do. So my confession to you is this. When I had the opportunity at the request of the deceased, I didn't. And when I was asked by the family about the if and when possibility, I said no. For both, I humbly apologize. What matters to me is that I am here now, and given the relationship with the deceased that spans decades, I appreciate in my heart that he, in his now soulful existence, would want me to be here. The deceased Ramdulara Prabhudial wore many names. My brother made a joke a couple days ago that there was a famous wrestler by the name of Mil Mascaras, because he wore 1,000,000 masks, 1,000 masks. This gentleman was known by 1,000 names. Jack, Dular, Ramdular, Palance, Jerry, Prabs, Prabhu, and I could go on. You would agree with me then that a rose by any name remains a rose. Ramdulara Prabhudial by any name was one and the same, Ramdular. And I would have researched his name yesterday. In Hinduism, it means thought, intuition, and beloved son of Sri Lord Ram. Indeed, the life of this gentleman, particularly in his later life, was in deference to Lord Ram, an incarnation, Lord Vishnu, Bhagwan. And maybe that accounts for his very, very deep religious and spiritual path in his later life, attending Ramayan sessions and satsang, and the kind of music and television shows and so on that he would have looked at. Ramdulara Prabhudial was married to Tara on or around 1960, I understand. And that was a union that lasted more than 40 years before Tara passed away on or around 2001. That marriage to Tara, and I say so respectfully, of course, Auntie Tara, that marriage produced 4 sons: Ramesh, Kumar, Satnarayan, and Bisham, the chubby one on the right. And it reminds me of a famous king, Dasrat, in the epic narrative which we know as the Ramayana, considered to be today a very holy religious text. He had 4 sons as well. And in fact, it was through those sons that the Prabhudial family met the Mahabir family, the Ali family, the Ramdat family, the Maharaj family, the Lutawan family, the Rampati family, and so many others. And at that time, most of us were developing our cricketing and football skills. Bisham is still developing his. But many years ago, the deceased had a few bison. I thought it was a funny looking cow. So as boys, we spent our time playing cricket, other sports, practicing three-hole marble pitching, and learning to ride these funny-looking cows. It was a relationship that blossomed, so much so that the deceased himself became our friend. He would drive us out to places to attend any function. We became liming partners, as we say in Trinidad and Tobago. And Uncle Jack suddenly became Jack. Why call him Uncle Jack if he's your friend? And that is how we knew him until his death. In 1995, then Prime Minister had appointed me to be a senator, and I was too young according to the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago. I was eventually appointed to a board, ICN. And Jack would take me to meetings at Maraval Road. He would wait for me, however long, and then he would drop me back at the University of the West Indies. I was staying close to campus then. He would take me to political meetings far and wide, wherever it was. My father never trusted me to drive his Corolla, which was like a piece of gold to him then. He trusted Jack, not me. And for that, for his time, I say thank you. And on the subject of driving, Jack knew all of Trinidad inside out. Long ago, he was the replacement for social media app Waze and Google Maps. All you had to do was call and place the event, and Jack would be ready half an hour before to pick you up and take you where you wanted to go. And in the years that followed, his sons got married. Jack became father-in-law to Nadira, to Jacqueline, and to Julissa. And whilst I cannot speak for them, I am sure they would admit how he, in his own way, treated them like his own daughters. And out of those 3 marriages, Jack was blessed with 3 grandchildren: Chrissy, Shivana, and Sebastian. And Chrissy recalls a few days ago how her grandfather would take her for long drives, just like me. And in his quiet way of teaching her, he would teach her about issues of this thing called life. Oma, Nadira, and Chrissy would no doubt, miss Jack in his special way, given the physical closeness and proximity of the homes. Only recently, Shivana got married. Jack attended with a dashing suit, jacket and tie that made him stand out like Amitabh Bachchan, standing on attending a Shah Rukh Khan concert. And he spoke to me about a dance item by Shivana and her husband Yash at that reception. Jack told me it looked like something from a Bollywood movie. Incidentally, Yash is from India. I don't think Shivana is here. Maybe she's listening on social media. I was told that she visited Jack on last Saturday before he was hospitalized. And that can only be construed as an act of God. I say to you that he was forever proud of you, as he was of Chrissy, and indeed Sebastian. Sebastian, we know as Sebas in New Jersey, the son of the chubby guy on the right. I know he's going. Because of his own commitments to school, he could not be here. But in conversation with his father 2 days ago, his father had him on speakerphone, and I heard the conversation. He was obviously in shock. His grandfather, who made regular visits to him in New Jersey, was gone. To the 3 grandchildren, I suggest only that you cherish the moments and let these memories live forever. Gone physically, but spiritually always present. Jack was a man of many trades. He understood agriculture. He understood planting the land, rearing cattle like the bison, the funny-looking cows. He worked at the Ministry of Health, an ambulance driver, and he engaged himself sometimes as a private taxi driver in his spare time. He was a man who toiled in the vineyards to make a life for his 4 sons. Ramesh, the eldest son, as we know, was differently abled. But that did not, or was not a reason for Jack to discriminate upon him or to treat him differently. Surely it was not. He was treated as equal. Kumar and Sati, Oma is Kumar, the good-looking one in the middle next to the chubby one. Kumar and Sati became very skilled engineers in the air conditioning industry. Today, Kumar being a top-level executive with Peaks Company Limited, something his father was extremely proud of, as he was of Bisham and Sati and Ramesh. And Bisham made his way through the trials of American life. He's a very successful member of the truck driving industry and a lover of fast food of all description. Jack never discriminated on anyone on the basis of class, color, or ethnic orientation. And Bisham never discriminated on food. You know, in the years that followed, Jack, Ramdulara Prabhudial, would have lost his wife. And he would have lost his 2 sons. But that never fazed him. It never did. He carried on with strength and with purpose and with dignity. And it is something that I looked on at. I had lost a brother in 2008. And I continue to struggle emotionally, physically with that. But he was a shining example of how you deal with death and how you understand it is but a mere passage in this life. Jack would also be remembered as a good and decent neighbor. He knew how to relate with people close to him. The Rattan family, I think Winston is here. Winston is forever close to this family. For all that you did, Winston and your family, Mr. Jack, thank you very much. The Lachu family, yesterday I had to come and move my van after the first night week because I had walked home. And when I came in the morning, close to 6:30 a.m., the lady next door who was dealing with some African snails and so on, she was telling me how close she was to this gentleman and how she would forever miss him. And of course, the Hudson family, before the extension of the Cunupia Government School, those of you would know there was the Hudson family next door, the Ray and the Rubens and so on. And Jack never discriminated on anybody on the basis of ethnic orientation. That is something that has shaped my life. We are all one. And Jack taught me one thing. When I look at you, I must see your face, not your race. So much so that over the years, every event that took place here, we would park at the school. That was the kind of relationship he had with security guards, principals, possibly ministers of education, etc. I don't know. But that is how he lived. Ramdulara Prabhudial was particularly interested and committed to his religion and to the principles of Sanatana Dharma. I would have in conversation said to Jack that I consider myself to be highly spiritual, if not religious, because I believe in the Bible, I believe in the Holy Quran, and I believe in the Gita and the Ramayana, and I believe in the message of Jesus Christ, and I believe in the message that was spread by Prophet Muhammad, upon whom be peace. Jack was involved with the Amarjot temple, where he was guided by Pandit Amar. He was also involved in the Kolahal Road temple, guided by Pandit Ramesh, who is here. Thank you for being here. To all your devotees and friends, we say thank you. And he was also involved through me to an extent with the Kailash Parvat Charani Gati Ashram, led by Pandit Para Maharaj, who is also here. And on the night before his hospitalization, Pandit, he would have called me several times, and I missed those calls because I was engaged in other aspects of social media. Maybe I should apologize for that as well. But when I got up and I saw the missed calls and I called him, he was calling me to find out about arrangements to attend your Sunday morning service. Unfortunately, that did not happen. To all the devotees of these temples, to all the friends, thank you for your courtesies. To his family from Esmeralda Road, so many I can't call names, some of them deceased. His friends, his deceased Pandit Babulal, we say thank you. I'm about to close. I know we have time to get to the cremation site, etc. You know, at funerals, we tend to remember the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 2. Chapter 2, verse 2 of the Bhagavad Gita speaks specifically about the whole question of death. For those of you who don't know, the Bhagavad Gita is considered to be the longest poem in the world, consisting of about 1.8 million words and close to 200,000 verses. And the Bhagavad Gita essentially is a dialogue. It's a discussion between Lord Krishna, who disguises himself as a charioteer, and he's leading Arjuna. And in chapter 2, verse 2 of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, disguised as the charioteer, speaks to Arjuna at the back of him, because Arjuna is in some moral and emotional dilemma in his mind. He's confused because he has to fight a war, which he does not want to fight, because it is a war against his own cousins, some of whom his own cousins, his family. And in that discourse, in chapter 2, verse 2, Lord Krishna advises Arjuna about death. And he speaks to him and he tells him that life is an impermanent, that we are merely on a transition in this life, in many, many lives that we would have to live. For those of you who believe in reincarnation like me. And he says to him that this body is so impermanent, consider it to be when you come home on an evening, you change your clothes, you shower, and you put on new clothing. And so too in this lifetime you will shed this body, and a new clothing would come in a new lifetime, a new life, depending on your karma. And of course your karma depends on how you perform your duty, which is your dharma, all interrelated. So this life is merely but a passage in one single lifetime, where the soul transmigrates according to what we do, what we say, and how we act. In closing, I would like to make one final point, and that point is this. Ramdulara Prabhudial, Palance, Jack, Uncle Jack, however you call him, a rose by any other name is a rose. Jack lived a life understanding that holding grudges, jealousy, hate, anger, malice is useless. He understood the value of forgiveness. He understood the value that if something happens one day, treat the next day as a new day, and maybe if someone would have done you wrong, look towards forgiveness. And if you may have done something wrong, look towards asking for forgiveness. And all the scriptures speak to this particular point. The Bible, the Gita, the Holy Quran. It speaks about friendship. It speaks about kinship. It speaks about love. It speaks about affection. So to all of us, including me, and I say this to Umar, Kumar, Nadira, family, Christopher Ali, family, my friends, the friends of Jack, let us set aside the past. The past is the past. The past could never be recovered. It is gone. We live in the present. We use the past only as a guide towards today and towards tomorrow. We reflect on it to guide us towards a future. Jack's life, the life of the deceased Ramdulara Prabhudial, should be a message about how we rekindle, how we forgive, and how we love. And I see Pandit folding his arms. Time for me to go. So I will close. I will close in the very same way that I started. And that is to say, how I started, so shall I end. I have a confession to make. And that confession is this. I feel a sadness in my heart. I have lost a person who I consider to be significantly dear to me, a father to me, and a friend to me. I feel a sadness to have lost him, not to see him again in a physical sense. But I feel rejoiced that he lived his life to the fullest. 86. He met his challenges and he conquered them all. He was a happy man because of his children and his grandchildren and his daughters-in-law. He did not suffer to the end. I am happy knowing that he went in peace. And in his peace, I find mine. I ask you to find your peace in his. Let us all find that peace. Let us all find that calm. Let us all find that happiness through him. God bless his soul. Thank you. And sit around.
Devotees, so many good words were said on behalf of the soul. And you know, funeral after funeral where I go, I always like to endorse by saying, when I die and I am lying there just as him, I want somebody to come here and say something good about me. But devotees, is a very hard work ahead of us to gain that. It's not an easy thing for somebody to come and say something good about you here. And this is one of my wish. I always pray when I put my hands together. I put my hands together and I speak to God and I say, Lord, when I die, I want somebody to come and say something good about me. But you don't get that just like that. You have to earn that. And it is very simple to earn that. Just do what you have to do and try your utmost best to do it in the correct way. That's so easy to do. We are liable of making mistakes in our life. This is why my father, Pandit Baldat Maharaj, he died and gone, and he said, God make this neck for our purpose. We must learn to be a little humble, and we must learn to say sorry. Sorry is a word that is hardly here. You could say sorry to anybody. Sorry to the parrot. You could say sorry to the dog. Sorry to the human being. Sorry to anybody. Sorry is a good word. So before we leave and before we close, we put our hands together, we close our eyes and we bow our heads. And when we bow our heads, we get that opportunity to search our heart. And it is said in all religion, the human heart is the temple of God. Baba, man ke aankhe khol. Man is the mind, aankhe is the eye, khol mean to open. We open the eyes of the mind and there we're going to see that beautiful form of God. Today is Mangalbar. Mangalbar means Tuesday. The ruling deity is Pavanaputra Hanuman. We close our eyes and we see that Lord and that form in our heart and we say, Oh Hanumanji, we ask you, this soul that have left us, this person who was the father of this home who have left us, we ask you wheresoever that soul may be, O Lord, you and you alone know exactly where that soul is. And it is all of us desire that wheresoever that soul is, Lord, we ask you to provide everything for that soul. If that soul is suffering for any amenities in life, be it food, water, clothing, or shelter, we ask in you, O Lord, to please provide everything for that soul. So that soul is going to be comfortable wheresoever that soul is. We also ask in you, O Lord, the children and the family who are alive in this world, give them that strength and give them that courage so they can stand strong and do everything that is right for the loved one they have lost. All of us can say a little word of prayer in our hearts together. You know, this great leader says the voice of the people is the voice of God. If all of us pray together and say a little word of prayer, regardless to in Spanish, in Hindi, in German, in Irish, in whatsoever language you know, say a little word of prayer. Lord, bless his soul. Bless it. As we pray. Hari Om Jai Ram Rama Ramanam Shamanam Bhavatap Bhaya Kulapahi Janam Avadesha Suresha Ramesha Vibhu Sharanagatma Gatapahi Prabhu Dasasi Savinasan Visabhuja Krita Duri Maha Mahibhuri Ruja Rajani Sharabringa Patangare Sarapavakati Japrachanda Dahe Mahimandala Mandana Charutarang Grita Sayaka Chapanishangavaran Madamoha Mamatarajani Tamapunja Divakarate Jayani Manajata Kirata Nipata Kiye Mrigaloga Kubhoga Sare Nahi Hatinathayanathana Pahi Hare Vishayavan Pavara Bhuri Pare Munimanasa Pankaja Bringa Bhaje Raghuvira Maharanadhira Yaje Tavanama Japami Namami Hare भवरोगमहागदमानयरि गुणशीलकृपापरमायतनं प्रणमामि निरन्तरश्रीरमणन् रघुनन्दनिकन्दनधन्दधनं महिपालविलोकयदीनजनं 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 बार बार बर मांगहु हर्षदेव श्रीरंग पद सरोजयनुपायने भक्ति सदा सत्संग वरनी उमापति राम गुणा हर्ष गए कैलाश तब प्रभु कपिन दिवाय सब विधि सुख प्रदवास सिया पति रामचंद्र की जय शरणम। राम नाम सत्य है। Devotees, 10 days from today, 10 days from today would be the shaving. And you know, during the shaving time, all the family need is a little physical help to do something. Whether you come to wash leaf, or to wipe the chairs, or to cut up a little seasoning, or to do something. This is all the family needs. And when your time reach and when my time reach, I would like to see devotees coming to help. So I urge each and every one of you, let it not stop here. We have 13 days to go. We are not asking for the whole 13 days for you to be here. However, you are going to be notified if we are going to have any Ramayana satsang, how much nights and when we are going to have it. I urge you, please support. I remember when my father died, I looking at the gate. I watching at the gate and see if anybody will come. 6:30, a few people, just a few people come. By the time 7 o'clock, the entire place was filled. And you know, that helps the children too. That helps the children with the emotion, the sadness, the loneliness, the sorrow. That helps them too. So I urge you, if you're here that it have a Ramayana and thing, please come, and all you have to do is to come and sit. When your time reach and when my time reach, I want everybody to come. 10 days from today is going to be the shaving. Check in today. You check in today also. 10 days would be the shaving, and 13 days from today is going to be the Bhandara. So on the both Bhandara and the shaving, you all, every single one, the family has asked me to reassure that everyone is invited. Everyone is invited. You are also would be notified when we are going to have Ramayana satsang. And please, I ask you to come. Because when my time reach, I want to see people. Please, I ask you again and again on behalf of the family, please come. If you just have to come and share a little water self, that will be a great job. You know, Bhagavad Gita chapter 12 say, perform an action in the name of God. It's just like you're doing prayers, you know. When you cut the bamboo, you pick the flowers, you pick the palm leaf, you pick the tubgrass, all these things. You help make the bedi, you help spread the sheet. All this is performing action in the name of God. You get the same blessing as if you're doing puja. So I repeat, 10 days from today, shaving. 13 days from today, Bhandara. And then, of course, we have a monthly Shraddha ceremony to do. Devotees, we are going to take it step by step as we go along, together with the children and together with me, devotees. When I am appointed to do a funeral, then I make myself a part of that family too. Because I know the only difference between me and you is when you're doing your normal chores, I may be in a puja somewhere. That's the only difference. But devotees, if we die and we go and we line up to go and see God, I must line up behind you. It's not that God will call the Baba in front, you know. I have to line up behind you. I have to give account for what I do in this world. How I live as a father, how I live as a son, how I live as a brother, how I live as a neighbor. I have to give that account. Nobody, a wife and husband could be together for 40 years. And when the wife go by God, she has to answer for herself. and the husband has to answer for himself. It's not like, look, my wife there, you could ask she, you know. It's not like that. We are spiritually, we are parallel. We have to answer for what we do. And as a pundit, I have to answer for. You know, my godfather used to make a joke and say, I have to answer for how much people prayers I reach late to do. He used to laugh at and say that. So these things make a difference in your life, devotees. It makes a difference in your life. And I can speak for him too a little. Many times when my godson is being invited or has to come to the ashram in Las Lomas, then many times I feel free to call him Jack now. I see Jack together with him. When I speak to him, devotees, he always have this certain way that he respects you. I want to speak to him as what I know. I don't want to speak to him what I does not know. Everybody has two sides. I want to speak about him the one side. Who knows the other side, they can speak. Everybody has two sides. Everybody has two sides. So I urge you to come, devotees. In a little while from now it's 11:15, by 11 o'clock, or before 11 o'clock, for about 5 to 3 minutes to 11, we would be ready to leave this home to go to Waterloo. All those who would like to have their final view at the body and is not going at Waterloo, they can come and do so in a very orderly manner while we make preparation to leave here to go to Waterloo. On behalf of the family, I take this opportunity in thanking each and every one of you for being so patient and to being so kind and quiet and taking part in this funeral ceremony today. Until we see and until we meet again, God bless each and every one of you. Sitaram.
When we take our exit, we shall leave alone. 2 दिन की जिंदगी है, 2 दिन का मेला. When we do take stock of our lives, we realize that this life is a very short visit to a mela. This is a world of strangers. No one is yours. Although everyone lives, I am still alone. आए भी अकेला और जाए भी अकेला.
त्वमेव माता जिंदगी है, 2 दिन का मेला, आए भी अकेला, जाए भी अकेला, 2 दिन की जिंदगी है, 2 दिन का मेला। हर की शरण तू हो जा, ध्यान लगा ले, हर की शरण तू हो जा, ध्यान लगा ले, जीवन मिले ना फिर ये जीवन को पाले, हर की शरण तू हो जा, ध्यान लगा ले, जीवन मिले ना फिर ये जीवन को पाले। Yeah.
तेरे नाम सबको सम्मत दे भगवान, तुम बिन जिस लो सबकी कल्याण करो जगता, सरहद का करके उद्धार करो दुर्गा।
Good.